you ready for the edge of your seat thrills? Welcome to the Dark Waters Radio Show. The outstanding theater of modern audio drama awaits. Settle in and visit iamdarkwaters.com to enhance this listening experience. Their archive of chilling tales complements any occasion from casual nights at home to entertaining guests. Lose yourself in the expansive library of the strange and supernatural at iamdarkwaters.com as they transport you into a world of mystery and imagination. Tonight's tale is a remarkable story guaranteed to keep you guessing until the final shocking moments. iamdarkwaters.com presents this original Dark Waters radio drama for your enjoyment. So dim the lights, delve into the expansive story archive at iamdarkwaters.com and immerse yourself in our audio adventure. Relax as their terrifying tales take you on an emotional thrill ride you'll never forget. The story begins in just a moment.
Have you heard the chilling cryptid encounters of Dark Waters? With over 160,000 YouTube subscribers and 300 interviews under his belt, Dark Waters has captivated audiences worldwide with his dramatic retellings of paranormal eyewitness stories. Now you can dive deeper into the strange and terrifying world of Bigfoot through the shocking true encounters compiled in Dark Waters' latest book series, Shocking Bigfoot Encounters Volumes 1 and 2, available on Amazon.com. After countless candid conversations with Bigfoot eyewitnesses from all walks of life, Dark Waters chronicles their most vivid, terrifying, and perplexing experiences. From disturbing sightings to unexplained sounds and physical altercations, this comprehensive collection spans the fear-provoking range of Bigfoot encounters. Prepare to venture into the woods after dark and emerge forever changed. The Shocking Bigfoot Encounters books underscore the mysterious being's surprising intelligence and communication abilities through dramatic, real-world accounts you have to hear to believe. Get your copies today on Amazon.com.
All right, now in order for you to understand my Dogman encounter, I gotta tell you a little bit about me. Ever since I was a kid, I was able to go into the astral realm and astral project. I mean, it just happened. Never understood how, I never understood why. I would go to sleep at night and I would be inside of people's houses. And I could do things to people, like I could pull their covers, I could turn on lights, I could do all these different things. By the time I was in my 20s, I had taken a dark turn with my astral projection. I would go places, harass people, mess with them, just do little wicked things that I didn't have to do. Well, one evening I decided I'm just gonna go inside my neighbor's house up the street, just to take a look around. So when I go to bed that night, I leave my body and head up the street. Now, I'm not sure if you understand how astral projection really works, but it's not quite like just walking down the street. You have to have your mind set on the place that you're gonna go. In many cases, it's better to be in communication with the person at the destination that you wanna go. But because she was right up the street, I set my mind on her house, left my house, and I was there. Now, the weirdest thing was, her car was parked on the street. So I'm crossing from my side of the street to her side of the street. Now, while I'm descending from my side of the street over to her side of the street, kind of like on a downward 45-degree angle, I run into this giant angel standing there with the sword and a shield. And he's just looking at me. And I'm talking about this guy is massive. I try to go around him, and he would step in front of me. I go to the right, he would go to the right, and I go to the left, he would go to the left. And so finally, I asked him, I said, why are you here? And he says, I protect her car. But I need you to understand, this guy was massive, so big that I couldn't see around him. My objective was to go into her house. And when I finally got past him and saw what was protecting our house, I decided it wasn't worth it. I'm talking about 15 20 angels standing outside and around this woman's house. In this hedge, kind of like a snow globe over it, but it was on fire. Now I've changed my mind about going into the house. I've never seen anything like this, so I'm just observing it when that angel that was standing in front of the car grabs me and slams me back into my body. When I tell you I wake up with bruising and fingerprints on my neck, he literally slammed me back into my body. Now I'm getting out of the bed, trying to walk, and my spine has this pain unlike anything I've ever felt. I go to the chiropractor, and the chiropractor tells me that my right leg is now shorter than my left leg by 1.5 inches. Are you listening to me? That angel slammed me into the bed so hard that it misaligned my spine. That put an end to all my adventures into the spirit realm and astral projection for quite a while. Well, fast forward about a month later, I have a doctor that's willing to help me and realign my spine, but I have to have surgery. So I go into the hospital the night before. The surgery is early in the morning. They give me some pain meds and some medicine and allow me to go to sleep. Well, as I go to sleep, I start astral projecting again. Unintentionally, I didn't want to, I didn't care to. And as soon as I come out of my body, Jesus is standing there. And when I say Jesus, I mean the Jesus that everybody describes him looking at is standing right there. And he says, "Where are you going?" And I told him, I said, "I don't know. I don't want to go anywhere." He touches me and tells me that I have been given a gift and I've been abusing my gift. And in the future, I need to be more mindful of what I'm doing. And then like that, I wake up in my body. Except for when I wake up, there's no pain. And what I mean by no pain, I'm talking about I was in excruciating pain. I wake up and there's no pain. Listen, at first, I was like, man, there's some good meds they got me on. I'm feeling fantastic. But then I get out of the bed and I start to walk. And I'm walking normal and regular again. Absolutely no pain. The following morning, when the sun is up and the doctor comes in, I tell him, I say, "Hey, I'm not feeling any pain. Everything seems like it's fine." They go through the x-rays, look at my spine, look at my legs, give me more x-rays, and everything is back to normal. Now, I'll tell you all that background so you'll understand why when I heard about Dogman, the first thing I did was get on my knees and start to pray and ask God, "Hey, is this Dogman real? If it's real, will you give me a divine escort into the spirit realm to see what it's about?" It took about 2 days before my divine escort arrived, but let me tell you, it's one thing to go into the astral realm on your own. It's a whole nother story to go into the spirit realm with a divine escort. I go to sleep and immediately I am snatched up out of my body and I am over the earth. Like I'm in space looking down on the entire planet. And as I'm there, I look to my right and it's an angel. But he's not like the angels that I saw before, the ones with the shields and swords. It's just a dude with a shirt and pants on. He has no wings, but you can tell he's an angel. I can tell by his facial features. They're so strong and so prominent. He's like the epitome of what a human being would look like. Like if you took the average human being and made them 1,000% of their maximum potential, that's what he looked like. So we're there. I'm assuming in outer space looking down at the planet, and the lights start to go out and the power starts to go out across the entire globe. And then we're zoomed straight down into this light on the ground. And it's a giant bonfire. The two of us are standing there. And there's these men and women dancing around this fire. And when I say giant, I'm talking about this is 20-foot logs stacked up in the air, lit on fire. It's a massive bonfire. Some of the men are naked. Some of the women are half naked. They're dancing around in circles. And then people start to jump into the fire. I mean, like literally run and jump into this massive fire. It's 100, 200 people out there dancing around, and then people run and jump directly into the flames. You don't even hear them screaming. This happens about 3 times. Then out of the woods comes what everybody describes as a dogman, except for this would have to be defined as a giant dogman. 22, 23 feet tall. He was definitely taller than the fire. He comes out of the woods, picks a person up, and just eats them. I'm talking about bites them in half, some Attack of the Titans type bullshit, bites them and chews them, and everybody starts to cheer. He finishes eating that first person, and then he does it again, and everybody's dancing and cheering. Then he turns and walks back into the woods. And I'm gonna do my best to explain to you what happened next, because it was kind of freaky and weird how it played out. We were still standing in the same spot, but all the activity and motion in front of us sped up. So people started circling the fire extremely fast, and then the fire went out and the wood turned to ashes, and all of a sudden it was gone. And it was like time was being fast forwarded right in front of me. Then all of a sudden you see these people building it, digging a foundation, and rapidly they build this entire temple, thousands of people at work. And what I noticed as they built this temple, there was this humongous side entrance. And when I say humongous, I mean humongous side entrance, like you can drive 3 18-wheelers into the side of this temple. Now, mind you, this is moving and fast forward. They finished the construction. And then there's this great celebration, people dancing, paint on their faces, cheering, smiling, jumping up and down. 20,000 people dancing around. And all of a sudden they stop. And then things start to slow down. It's almost like he wanted me to see these events happening as they did then, because everybody goes quiet and this man comes walking out of the woods, and he has this girl with her. She had to be no more than 18, 19 years old. She's naked. They walk to the base of the temple and start to ascend up the steps and get to this platform. Everybody starts cheering, and this man just slits her throat right then and there. And this man pulls out a knife and just guts her right there in front of everybody. And they all cheer. I'm talking about grotesque, gruesome human sacrifice craziness. Then everything speeds up again and the temple becomes overgrown. People are dying. Then it speeds up again and people start to look sick. The temple is overgrown. People are dying all over the place. And then the bricks of that temple begin to crumble and they turn into rubble. Next thing you know, I'm back up in the air, almost like I'm in outer space. And then the lights come back on. And then I'm taken back up into outer space and the lights come back on. Like all over the planet, the lights come on and then they go off again. And then the lights come back on again. I mean, all over the planet, the lights are on. But it's weird because the continents of the planet aren't configured the way they are on today's map. They're all discombobulated and moved around. But those lights come on and then they go off. And I'm zoomed in again and I'm taken down to the earth again. And he and I are standing in the middle of this camp. 3 massive 30-foot tall fires. And all around us are these things that look like Dogman, 15, 16 feet tall. And they're patrolling, walking around, looking, sniffing, smelling. And then he points, and over, in between some trees, you see what looks like a giant, a giant human being laying on the ground sleeping. Now, scanning the woods in this area, it was multiple giants. Gigantic humanoid beasts. Gigantic humanoid creatures laying there, sleeping on the ground. And these creatures, these dogmen that everyone is calling them, were protecting them while they slept. Now, right then and there was the first time I ever heard him speak. He says, the third watch comes and we're taken to this mountain, standing on the side of it. Below us, you can see those huge, gigantic fires. Directly to the east of where those fires were torches. I'm talking about millions of torches. It looked like a giant snake made of flames slithering its way in their direction. But when you look closer, it was humans. Human beings with torches, dressed for war, cavalry, footsmen, swordsmen, archers. And then time began to speed up again right there in front of me. And I stood there and watched the war between humans and giants. I watched as those archers flanked their way all the way up the mountain to where we were standing and started shooting fiery arrows down on top of those giants. And I'm not talking about 1,000 arrows. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of flaming arrows, all fired at the same time. Instantly, the woods in the area burst into flames. The dogmen that were protecting them were burning alive. And this battle raged on from sunup to sundown, through the night until sunup again. And somehow, all those humans were able to slay every one of those giants. And then again, after that, I was taken back up into what I can only call outer space, and the world began to spin super fast, and all the lights were back on, and everything was in its proper place. Every continent was where it was supposed to be. And then we dropped down at this location, and And I can't tell you exactly where I was because there were no signs, but it was a modern, renovated castle. Not like 18th century. I mean like 2000s. I mean like these people had just finished renovating this castle, and we're on the ramparts looking down, and there's another huge bonfire. People dancing around, cheerful, laughing, smiling. This time, it's only 30 of them. They're running around naked, dancing, smiling, cheering. And then another one runs into the flames of the fire. And it starts to glow even more, this green and purple color. The third person runs in, and the flames separate in the fire. One is green, and one is purple. And everyone begins to cheer. And that's when I see one of those creatures, snout like a wolf, large, massive teeth, those yellow eyes, pushing its head out of the flames of that fire. And it's hard for me to make it make sense to you, but it was like the fire itself was a portal, and this thing was pushing itself, forcing itself through. It got its snout through, it got its eyes through, it was working on getting its ears through, and it was stuck. And then another person ran into the flames, and it comes popping out of the fire, lands, looks around, grabs one of them, eats them, turns and runs into the woods. Now, as this is going on, I'm looking at my divine escort, and the look on his face is just one of anger and disgust. Like he himself wanted to go over there and kill every last one of those people, but he couldn't. So all he could do was be angry about it. And on top of that, I don't believe he could even express his anger about it. He looks at me. I'm taken back up into the air. I'm looking at the globe, and then I'm dropped back down into my body. And when I wake up, I fall to my knees and I say, God, I thank you for allowing me to know the truth about what this is and where they come from. But I don't know what to do with it.
My cousin Jack had finally achieved his dream of owning a cabin in the woods after years of hard work. For a while, everything seemed perfect, until the atmosphere began to change. A few years into living there, Jack started hearing eerie howls echoing through the forest at night, and he would often catch glimpses of a massive, shadowy figure resembling Bigfoot lurking near the edge of his property. The creature had an unsettling gaze, and its eyes seemed to glow in the dark. Whenever Jack tried to approach it, the creature would retreat into the woods, disappearing as if it had never been there. The locals could hear the howls, but only Jack ever saw the creature. He also began to notice a towering silhouette of what looked like a man, but far too large to be human, appearing outside his window late at night. Jack told his wife Linda about these occurrences. She too felt an unsettling energy around the cabin, but had never witnessed the creature or heard the haunting howls. After 2 years of enduring this, they decided to leave the cabin and move back to the city. From that point on, the strange occurrences ceased, and they lived without further incident. So what was going on at that cabin in the woods? The property was far from any known burial grounds or other traditionally haunted locations. However, it was situated near a cluster of high-voltage power lines. Could the electromagnetic fields have something to do with it?
In the bustling city of Antipolo, Philippines, lies a paradoxical stretch of road known as Blue Mountain Pass. By day, it's a hub of activity, frequented by joggers, students, and commuters. But by night, it transforms into a desolate, eerie place, notorious for its dark history of crime and unexplained deaths. Over the years, dozens of dead bodies have been discovered in the tall grasses that line the road, making it a place most locals avoid after dark. Despite the ominous reputation, my friends and I would often hang out at a 24-hour fast food joint near the upper end of Blue Mountain Pass. One fateful night in November, we decided to play a prank on our youngest friend, Marco. He was clinging to the roof railings of our SUV as we drove through the darkest part of the pass. Suddenly, Marco's excited screams turned into cries of pure terror. Concerned, we stopped the vehicle to check on him. As we did, something inexplicable happened. The car doors started locking and unlocking on their own. My boyfriend Leo and I struggled with the controls, trying to let Marco back in. Finally, the locks ceased their bizarre behavior, and Marco scrambled inside. Just as he did, a ghostly white figure darted in front of our SUV, accompanied by a loud bang on the rear left side. We sped away, hearts pounding, and didn't stop until we reached the safety of a friend's studio. There, we inspected the SUV and found a chilling detail, a handprint on the exact spot where we'd heard the bang. That night, even our most skeptical friend Anna became a believer. It was as if the restless spirits of Blue Mountain Pass had decided to toy with us, a grim reminder that some places are best left undisturbed. So what was it that haunted us that night? Was it the restless souls of those who had met their untimely end on that dark road? Or was it something even more sinister, a creature of Filipino folklore perhaps, angered by our intrusion into its domain? We may never know, but one thing is certain. We won't be returning to Blue Mountain Pass anytime soon.